Typhoon Ragasa, also known as Nando in the Philippines, made landfall here in Guangdong province in southern China. Absolutely incredible images coming out of here. You can just look at some serious damage there along coastal communities, but also in Hong Kong. This is a storm surge that took place as that water was pushed up into Queen's Harbor. Now, this is one of the hotels right on the waterfront, but my goodness, that is some scary stuff right there. And this is why you always want to take these storm systems seriously, especially with that surge. It can sneak up on you really quickly. And Hong Kong and that area just showed you in the footage there in Guangdong province, all in the right front quadrant here of where this did come on shore, just towards the west of Hong Kong. So they didn't even get that inner core of the storm, but you still got images like this of that surge. And then in the broader picture of things, there was major impacts in Taiwan. 14 deaths occurred from this storm due to some serious flooding. And of course, across the Babylon Islands in northern areas of Cagayan and Ilocos Norte, some serious damage there as well. So yeah, this has made landfall, of course, but now our attention shifts to our newest tropical storm, expected to become a severe tropical storm just prior to landfall, and that of course is Opong here, located just towards the east of Mindanao. It is expected to move towards the north and west and come on shore there into the Bicol area, possibly right around Catanduanes, as, yes, according to Pagasa, a typhoon. So a second typhoon in less than a week here to impact the Philippines in the forecast. Signal Force 2 already issued for northern areas of Samar. Signal Force 1 also for most of Bicol, Masbate. Okay, so this is my dislike of the Signal Force warning, and I'll always just say this just as a general communications expert, I've been doing this for 20 years, is that Signal Force 1 and 2 probably going to be also issued for Manila. So when these initial maps come out, sometimes people just see this and they think, okay, I'm good. But Manila, this storm is going to continue to run towards the west and run over you as well. Potentially, and you can see right here, as a typhoon passing right over Cavite, just towards the south of Metro Manila, which means you're going to be looking at some direct impacts from this. So I just want to stress that, and it's not to scare or hype, and that never is my intention in these videos. But it definitely could be a serious impactor out here for the NCR. So let's talk about this, and let's talk about our first off. There's a broader picture, of course, with Nando Ragasa moving off towards the west. You have our new storm continuing the spin slowly just here towards the east of the Philippines. It's also known as Bualoy, here located just towards the east of Visayas. They don't make these easy to pronounce, do they? And yeah, so this is JMA. They do also have this getting up to severe tropical storm intensity. My personal thoughts, as somebody who's been doing this for 20 years, tracking every single one of these storms, I think it's going to be a typhoon. It's starting to get its act together a bit more so right now. I do believe the Bicol area, southern Luzon, maybe even northern Samar are going to have to deal with at least typhoon strength wind gust. But as this tracks across the islands here, you got some mountains, you got some friction, but it's still tapping into warm waters there in the inland sea. Then you got the moisture being pulled in from the east. So I expect us to maintain at least severe tropical storm status all the way up to the point where it passes Manila. And according to JMA, it'll be passing just towards the south of Metro Manila with 100-kilometer-per-hour winds, pressure down to 990 hectopascals here by Friday night and into Saturday morning. So slow down just a little bit, because initially it was looked closer to about Friday midday. So here's just a look at the guidance from the ECMWF. You can see the time frame in the bottom or in the top right there. So this is Friday afternoon with that landfall just around Catanduanes, and then you can see that low level center shifting directly towards the west by Saturday morning. They're at 6 a.m. passing directly over Manila in the NCR with heavy rainfall. And not only then, but look at throughout the day on Saturday as the low moves towards the west, you continue to get that southwesterly flow that wraps around. So parts of Mindoro, Palawan, Subic, all those areas along the west coast going to be kind of looking at that moisture pile up here, not only from the initial shot of the inflow coming behind Nando, by the way, but also, of course, this system. So the rain, I believe, is going to be one of the main issues. Of course, coastal communities right there along the Bicol area, you know who you are out here in Legazpi. in Catanduanes. But those areas could be looking at a surge, some damaging winds. But I think in the broader scope of things, it's going to be more about the rainfall. So here for Thursday, the heaviest of the showers still offshore, just towards the east of the B-call area, but we're already starting to see scattered showers build in with those outer rain bands. For out here towards the west, you have the inflow coming in behind it, but let's move back towards the east. So here's a broader look at like Legazpi on Thursday, already seeing the showers. Back towards Manila, Subic's increasing rainfall. The only place that really isn't seeing rough weather here on our Thursday, at least, is the Cagayan Valley. Still afternoon showers are possible, but you're kind of missing out on the worst of it. Also, by the way, back towards Ragasa here, also known as Nando, it's going to be not only still impacting southern China, but northern areas of Vietnam could be even looking at some flooding rains too. And then you're going to have to worry about our next storm and how that could impact central Vietnam. These storms kind of running in this training pattern one after another. If you don't, I know our attention spans are short. Remember, Mirasol just moved off and impacted this same area as well. So you got 1, 2, potentially 3 storms, already saturated grounds. It always continues to create that additional threat of serious flooding on top of what we've already been seeing. So here's the broader picture, which, by the way, 1, 2, 3 storms. Now Gory's still over here towards the east. I don't talk about it much because unless you're a sailor, which I know some of you who watch these updates are, thank you guys so much for always sharing your reports. But unless you're a sailor, you're not really worried about that. Now Gory is kicking off some mad waves. I'll show this in just a second. But yeah, so here's just a broader look of course, Opong passing right over the Philippines here. Heaviest of the rain, basically from Manila south. So those areas that were impacted just a couple days ago from Nando probably are not going to be impacted quite as hard from this storm system. And here's those waves I was talking about. Look at these long period swells, and you get this shadow effect across the Marshall Islands, the Mariana Islands. It's actually kind of neat, and this is where, you know, sailors will go to kind of hide from the waves. I always find that a little interesting, seeing that on the bigger picture. Anyways, that's a look at what's happening out here in the Western Pacific today. A big shout out to all our Patreon members who continue to support this channel. You guys are the reason why I'm able to still do this. You know, we got kind of a little bit of a staff here at Western Pacific Weather. It's mainly volunteer. I shouldn't call it a staff. But, you know, you guys support it, and a lot of the products we have comes from our Patreon members and those who also sponsor the channel, FrontrunnerFinancial.com, if you do want to check them out. For anybody that's traveling overseas, you need to work on your finances. Tax is the big one there. But anyways, yeah, this incredible images coming out of southern China here today. Heart goes out to everybody impacted by this. Geopolitics are one thing, and of course, you know, you had, but a lot of these people just living their lives just like you and me, right? So let's make sure our thoughts go out to everybody being impacted by these storm systems. As always, thanks for watching. And number one thing, of course, friends, okay? Please stay safe out there. All right? Have a good day.